Good morning, all of you. A very warm welcome from MIT University and ISDC and IMA. We all are here to make you more clear about the international and global studies, global qualifications. Since years, the number of international students going for international studies are increasing day by day. So students are interested in completing their education after their secondary education with certain global and international flair. They want to go with the higher studies with a blend of internationalization with the concepts of local universities. So, and then the reason to do this, there are varied reasons to do this. One of the reason could be they want an international experience and exposures. The other could be it is easy sometimes to get into those education scenarios. And the most prominent reason behind them is to increase the employability, increase the opportunity to develop and strengthen the intellectual, interpersonal, skills to make yourself more employable for the job, to make the better opportunities open up for you. And obviously, on the other hand, the companies are also eager to take these students with international experiences, foreign languages, international alliances, qualification with international flair, and having flexible and multilingual experiences and exposures. And this all obviously boost up your career from very initial stages. You need not to wait for a longer run. You need not to wait for years of experience to work on with these things. And with these things, keeping in mind these things, with this vision, MIT University has always been one of the universities who keep, doing things for the benefit of the students. And with the same essence, we have MOU tie-up with ISDC and IMA, an international body, to come up with a course like CMA with us for our BBA MBA programs. And to appraise you with what CMA is, what international qualification is, what their benefits are, where are you going with these qualifications, what could be the job possibilities after these. So all those things, we have a panel of experts today with us. So for today's webinar, I invite and welcome all our expert speaker, Mr. Shon Babu, Mr. Vikas Khosla, and Mr. Fanil. Just to brief you about everyone of here, Mr. Shon Babu is a member of CMI London with more than 10 years of experience in higher education sector in India and UK. He has collaborated with almost more than 30 professional bodies in UK and closely associated with the Department of International Trades of British government. He is an expert consultant to British Council on vocational education as well as on the higher educations. In India, he strives to bridge the academy and industry gap by working with more than 200 universities. He's been instrumental in number of collaboration for establishments in UK, India, and with the British High Commissions. Chennai recently has represented ISDC in Indo-French Knowledge Summit. So, we have a very high-end speaker, Mr. Shon. So, Mr. Shon Babu, we welcome you for today's
seminar. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Mr. Fanil. Mr. Fanil is the country head of India IMA, Institute of Management Accountants. He comes with a wide experience of 16 plus years in the field of education, consulting and management. He's a master degree holder in marketing from Christ University, Bangalore, and currently is responsible for maintaining the market relationships with an extensive networking. His key responsibility was to develop the market for CMA, which is a Certified Management Accountant course. He also worked with CIMA, which is Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, as a regional head South India, He worked with IIFL, St. Elizabeth Center, UK in various capacities. So we welcome you, Mr. Tanil, for today's session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And next in the line, last but not the least, is Mr. Vikas Khosla, an expert speaker with overall experience of 13 plus years with prestigious companies like American Express, Educom Solutions, Miles Education, and many more. Currently, Mr. Khosla is working with ISDC. He is an effective and efficient speaker and a great knowledgeable person in marketing and sales. Mr. Khosla, we welcome you for today's session. With this, without wasting any much more time, I request Mr. Khosla to take up this, praise our students with the further knowledge and the things for today's webinar. So I once again welcome you all, and over to you, Mr. Khosla.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon to all, one and all, and thank you so much, Durgesh sir, for this wonderful introduction of the speakers. My first speaker for the day, our first speaker for the day is Mr. Sean Babu, who's going to talk about changing landscapes and the need for a professional qualification. So, Sean, we would like some insights about the same.
Sure. Thank you so much, because thank you so much, Batra sir. It's a great opportunity to talk to the students and prospective students and also the team members of Amity University, which has marked a big presence across the globe in the education sector. And Amity is one among the brands which transformed the education sector from many conventional, ideologies to the requirement of the industry. So we have seen the growth of Amity University and the kind of education that they impart on a global scale. And what I felt is that the university, just like sir was mentioning in the initial stage itself, they want the students to be global. So that's what ISDC and professional bodies like IMA also, aims at. We want students who are job ready and who are global professionals. We never thought that, just 2 years back, we will be doing these kind of sessions or trainings or any education related aspects in an online portal. We never thought about it. Things got changed, and if you take the Indian scenario, we have done a 10 years leap in the technological advancement in the education sector in India. And the universities like Amity has taken a huge step in imparting or changing themselves as per the current requirements. So that's why last year we were kind of clueless when we faced the pandemic, the initial stages on how things are going to change. But the best universities and the professional bodies or education organizations, they adapted well. They understood what is going to happen, and they have changed themselves to prepare. And also, they are working on in alignment with the requirements of the current scenario. We are not saying that, okay, this is the pandemic time, we don't know what to do. We're not saying that. We are trying to survive, we are trying to adapt, we're trying to move forward. That's what our student community has also shown, this kind of positive responses from their side. You are not holding yourself back. You are also trying to adapt yourself to the changes what is happening across the globe. And we are trying to compete with the world right now. Our Indian students and the Indian talent is so famous across the globe, and we are also ready to embrace the changes. That is one of the key facts that I've found, key aspects that I found in the Indian students. They even the teachers, actually, even the teachers, they were ready to embrace the technological changes. Nothing was holding them back from adapting to these kind of technologies. And things have changed a lot, and the business has changed a lot. Therefore, the industry is looking forward to have people with international knowledge, who are ready to work in different sectors, who are ready to accept changes, who are ready to accept challenges. That's what the industry is looking forward. They want people who are employable. Definitely, our university systems give them a lot of knowledge. BCom, BBA, MBA programs, these academic qualifications give them a strong foundation, give them a lot of knowledge. But by collaborating with these kind of professional bodies like IMA, which has got a legacy of around 100 years. In fact, we celebrated the centenary in 2019. These kind of professional bodies, by collaborating with them, we are imparting the professional side also along with the academic, views. So the students are getting an opportunity to have a very strong recognized academic degree from Amity University. And also by collaborating with IMA, the students are getting an opportunity to pursue a global qualification, which is recognized by the
Sean,
for a long time. So that is, that is a synergy that the best universities in the country are trying to do right now. By collaborating with the professional bodies, they are making their students more professionals, professionally qualified people, so that they stand out from the crowd. That is a very important thing, because the industry has got lakhs and lakhs of students coming out every year. There's a huge talent pool out there. So from a student perspective, and also like from an organization view, why should you be picked up? Why should a student be picked up from the huge talent pool? That's the reason. That's what they ask you. What do you have to offer us? What extra do you have to offer us? How do you stand out from the crowd? And the question is a collaboration or an association with a global professional body where the students are more employable, where they are having knowledge about the international sector, international principles, international standards. Because none of these big corporates are working just for one country or two country, or their parent, where they belong to, parent country that they belong to. They are working on a global scale. They have their roots spread across the globe. So they want people who can relate to this. A person sitting in the Rajasthan office or Delhi office of Ernst & Young or KPMG, he should be able to work along with or communicate with his counterpart sitting in EY Dubai office or EY European Union office or EY Bangalore office. That's what they are looking at. And it's an amazing opportunity that the university is, the Amity University is providing you, that right from your, when you're pursuing your, BBA or MBA, you are getting an opportunity to be a member of a global professional body. And talking about IMA, for the 100 years, they have evolved to become a finance and business qualification. That's why the qualification or the IMA professional body is having its presence in more than 150 plus countries with more than 1 lakh members across the globe. That showcases this qualification or this membership organization is a globally recognized one and which closely works with the industry. At the end of the day, every student will be looking at the recognition given to their qualification from an employer view. Definitely, they were very concerned on. This is like a return on investment. And also here, when you're pursuing your professional qualification along with your UG or PG, you're not overburdened here. You don't have to go out of your campus, or you don't have to right now everything is online. You don't have to go out and search for other tuition providers along with your UG or PG. You are getting a big opportunity to pursue a global qualification. that will make you stand out from the crowd. You will have a global edge over others. We have around 1,000 plus universities and around 40,000 colleges in our country. And it's a huge competition out there. You need to be ready for the industry. And these qualifications like IMA, the CMA certification program, this will enable you to apply your knowledge, whatever that you study. These qualifications are designed in such a way that you will be able to apply. And IMA, the focuses on creating management accountants, cost accountants, who are the people which, these are the people who drive business forward. And management accountants, they are the people who find opportunity in business. Am I clear with my, like, is it clear? Because okay, fine, thank you so much, friend. Yeah, okay. So management accountants are the people who find opportunity in business, and I have got a very good expert in that, who has been working in this particular sector for more than 10 years. Fenil is a very close associate, and he's the right person to talk to you about the technicalities and about the professional body in detail. I just wanted to give you an opening remarks. Students, this is a need of the hour. This is a need of the hour. But you don't have an option. You don't have any other option. In order to survive, the corporates, they want people who are street smart, who are ready to take up challenges, who are having additional qualifications in their hand. That's what they want. That's what they are looking forward. We, as I told you in the initial, my talk, no pandemic can hold us back. As humans, we adapt, we learn things. Even though, we are restricted to the four walls of our, houses these days, through the technological advancements, what I've seen is that in finance or business sector, I've only seen a growth. I've only seen more enrollments or more job opportunities coming in. But the jobs, their nature has changed. The way people used to work has changed. That has changed. And by being a member of a professional body will help you to embrace that. And also, one other important fact is continuous professional development. In this current changing landscape, CPD is very important. Some of you must be knowing about it. Where you remain relevant by upgrading your knowledge, by updating your knowledge, by understanding what is happening around you, what is happening around the world. For that, you are connected with the professional body throughout your life. So you have a very strong recognized UG or PG program from the Amity University, Rajasthan. And then the next step is, once you move out, you have a professional body that will support you throughout your life. Because professional body members, they are connected with the whole association, or Finilji, I think we have around 300 plus chapters across the globe, isn't it? Yeah. So you're connected with like-minded people across the globe. So you remain relevant in the industry. That's very important. So you remain relevant and you update your knowledge. That's when people recognize you, the companies recognize you. That is very important these days. I'm not talking, going to talk about the qualification in detail because I've got Fenilji here and Vikas is also there for that. So just wanted to give you an opening remarks on that. What is the importance? Why these best universities in the country are not just focusing on giving a regular degree? They want their students to stand out from the crowd, and they want to give the best advantage for their students. So please, take up these opportunities and understand what suits you the best. There are a lot of qualification outside there. So if you've got a business acumen, IMA is the right qualification. Thank you so much. Over to you, Vikas.
Thank you so much, Sean, for your words of wisdom and the relevance of a professional qualification in today's changing scenarios. My next speaker is Mr. Fenil Vadakan from Institute of Management Accountants. And my question to you, Fenil, is the Institute of Management Accountants as a professional body, if you could give us a brief introduction on the same.
Thank you, Vikas. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. So first of all, thank you, Amity University, one of the main brands in India and across the globe, for inviting me to be part of this session. Thank you, ISTC, our platinum partner in India, again for organizing and supporting IMA in our journey, especially supporting. I'm getting some repeated voice. If
Some
others can
background
mute, it will
noise is
be
coming, Durgesh sir. I think so. It should be better now, Fenil. You can go on.
okay. Thank you very much. So once again, thank you. So just to give you an overall perspective about Institute of Management Accountants, as Sean mentioned, we are a 100-plus-year-old professional membership body headquartered in New Jersey, USA. We spread across 150 countries with our members, around 140,000 members across the globe. Uh, as a professional body, we support the profession through the Certified Management Accountant credential, through continuous education, networking, research, and we stand as the highest ethical standards in the business as a professional body. We do have offices around the globe and 300 chapters, which Sean already mentioned to you. So now the question comes up, okay, how we are connected, why these, the chapters are there. It is ideally to support our members around the globe. And chapters are a group of members in a specific location comes together. They share their ideas, they learn from each other, they conduct events to upgrade your knowledge, which is continuous professional education, which is very important in the professional sector. And it's also an opportunity to network with people. So now what I've seen sometimes, the students who are doing graduation also connect with managers, directors, and vice presidents of the organization when they come together for these conferences and meeting. So one way you are getting an exposure to the senior executives in the organization, get to know from them what industry works and how industry works, and you get to know the routes to get into the corporate world. On the other side, if you look at the senior members, it's a great opportunity for them to connect you and get your skill set. So nowadays, we know the number of people who are applying for jobs and how to differentiate you from there. So now you have people, I would say, in a way, godfathers, to guide you, get you to the corporates, and if you are able to showcase your talents. So being IMA is a global body, as mentioned to you, we are not only into certification, we deep dive into research initiative. We work with multiple organizations, and we look forward what industry looking at from the future finance and management accountants. So every 5 to 6 years, I may go around the world and ask the employers what kind of skill set you are expecting from your finance and management accountants in the near future. So we call this as the job analysis study. And based on the job analysis study, IMA creates something called IMA Management Accounting Competency Framework. So this is, I would say, it's more like the base book for a management accountant or a finance professional who want to work in this challenging and volatile world. And that is how IMA create our syllabus for the certification. And we ensure whether you are a CEO, CFO, director, or a student, end of the day, you need to write both exams, the rigorous exams IMA conduct, and you need to be certified only after clearing the exams. So this is how we support the profession. This is how we support the industry, providing the right skilled people for the finance and management accounting industry, and we also help students and professionals in their career as well as to get the right job and right profile in the organizations. I hope this can give you an overall perspective about IMA. Thank you. Over to you, Vikas. You have any other questions?
Yes, Fenil, come back to you very soon. Thank you so much, Fenil, for giving a wonderful insight on the need for professional qualification, and how important the membership is there is important for the students who pursue it. And right from the start, when they enroll, they become a active member of the Institute of Management Accountants. That's very nice. And being associated with IMA, with CMA since so many years, I have it's one of my I can say I'm the professional qualification I'm very fond of and very attached to. So now a question to myself before I come back to Fenil. Let me just share my screen with you. Just a minute. I'm not too net savvy, so please bear with me. Just a minute. Yeah. So is my screen viewable, Abhishek?
Yes, Vikasji, it's visible.
Let me just go to the current slide. So I think so probably I've jumped too fast. We are talking about CMA being only 2 exams. So that's the best part of it, students. The fact, that in your graduation, you're going to be studying about 6 papers every semester. That makes it about 36 papers to study in your 3 years of graduation. And as Sean sir said, we need to stand out amongst the so many students about who are pursuing just a graduation. So to stand out after your graduation and to be employable, a professional qualification like the institute, the certified management accountant is definitely helpful. And the best part is, it's pretty much flexible, students, because the exam windows, there are 6 exam windows in a year. You can, at your choice, you can attempt any paper in any examination window. Exams are basically held in Jan, Feb, April, May, July, August, and October, November window. And the best part is that it tests your conceptual clarity. And I'm sure you must be aware what are multiple choice questions. So multiple choice questions are, there is a question and there is an there are 4 options to it. You have to choose any one of them which is the right answer. And just like you must have heard about probably your brothers or sisters going through competitive exams wherein they are their knowledge is checked through the multiple choice question format. It's not the descriptive questions like you have a question and you're writing notes and filling up the pages. So it's a multiple choice question. I'm sure you must have understood about it. And students, the best part of the CMA qualification is that there is no negative marking at all. So in case, even if you have made an error in choosing the right answer, so there's absolutely no negative marking, and there's an ease of completion of the CMA examinations. There is Fenil will give you more insight about that what is the in how much time you can complete the qualification, etc. So yes, Fenil, I'm back to you again. Let me just stop sharing my screen. My another question to you, Fenil, that why do you think students should pursue this qualification at the undergraduate level? So what if you could give some insight about that?
Thank you, because this is a really a good question. This is something which I'm always interested to talk to the students. Before getting into why should you do CMA, I just want to give you a scenario right now. We are living in the world of technology, robotics, and analytics. Am I right? These are the terminologies which you every day now you see and you hear from everywhere. Now, the question is whether these technology, robotics, and analytics is going to create a kind of disruption in the market, or it is going to help in the market. Okay, I think there is a question from a student. I don't know whether the student joined right now. What is IMA? Institute of Management Accountants is the full name. I think we already spoke in the beginning. Okay. Now, as I mentioned to you, we live in the world of technology, robotics, and analytics. If you look at around last 10 years or like around 10 years back, you might see a lot of internet cafes in our villages or in our small cities. Are you able to see them right now? No. Am I right? On the other side, when you want to access internet, you have access that you can access this internet in your mobile. So in a way, it is the life. But on the same time, look at what happened for the people who were running their own internet cafes. They lost their jobs, they lost their business. Now the question is, do you think this is going to affect the financial management industry? Yes. According to the recent studies which IMA and Deloitte done it, almost 27% of organizations are going through finance transformation right now. And almost 88% of organizations are going through finance transformation in the next 5 years' time. How that affect you? If you see certain jobs right now, and if you aspire to be becoming normal accountant, or some of the jobs your friends and relatives doing, or some of the people who are working in the industry, you won't see these jobs in the near future. So what happened for the internet cafes? This is the same scenario going to happen in this industry. Any jobs which is repeated in nature is going to get automated. It can be with robotic technology or analytics. Now the challenge is, then why should I study? Am I right? So definitely you should have all the basic information which you definitely get as part of your graduation. But now industry is changing and you need to equip the skills which is required for the future. That might be one reason. If I look at last 5 to 6 years, there is a tremendous requirement happening for management accountants. If you ask normal people, about management accounting, sometimes people say, yeah, it's cost accounting. Yes, cost accounting is one part of it. So management accounting deals with a big range of activities. Now, IMA, or Certified Management Accountant Credential, that is our certification, as a qualification based or focused on finance and management accounting. So how management accountants are different from a normal accountant? That might be the next question comes up. Am I right? So you are well aware about accountants or financial accountants. What they do, they look at all the day-to-day activities, ledger, prepare the balance sheet and profit and loss account, and showcase to the company or general public or the stakeholders, this is what the financial position of the company. So what they do, they look at whether all the transactions are done as per the rules and regulations. And these are the balance sheet and this is the profit and loss account of the company. Now, that's something what we call as valuation. I mean, you value the company with the current assets and liabilities, and this is what the financial position of the company. So now what a management accountant do? I would say a management accountant start his job where financial accountant finish his job. So their job is to look at the balance sheet, profit and loss account. On the other side, they have to look at what industry looking at, what the organization looking at, what are the new plans they have. They are the ones who fill the gap between a decision maker, the final decision maker, and from the accountants. So in a way, I would say a management accountants are more analytical, application oriented, and someone who take decision in an organization rather than just evaluating what happened. So I would say management accountants are more value creators than valuators. I hope you'd understand the difference. Valuation is what happened, and you're looking at valuation of the company and showcasing. Whereas a management accountant is to create more value for the organization. So in a scenario, if I look at, okay, how to improve the performance of the company, how to reduce the cost of production of the company, how to improve the efficiency of the company, how to gain more goodwill in the organization or around the world. and how to look at merger, acquisition, and how to look at that profitability of that. There are multiple, like they look into risk management, they look into investment management. So they are more or advisors or decision makers, or who work very closely with decision makers to take the final decision. So these are the kind of jobs which you see for management accountant. So I always get this question. So how different management accounting from public accounting or chartered accounting? See, I respect all the professional bodies, and every professional body is created in the world to serve the industry and country. Now, the difference, as I mentioned to you, financial accountants are more into, or chartered accountants or public accountants are more into audit, tax, assurance, complaints. Management accountants are more into the forward-looking people and implement, report. You know, that's a kind of role where a management accountant more work on. Now, the reason behind why CMA is important. The CMA certification is the certification focused on management accounting. So whether you want to work in an industry or whether you want to start your own organization. I do have a student who completed her graduation 2 years back. Now she started her own organization. She's also now the secretary of Bangalore chapter. We do have such chapters. In the age, I would say in the 2 years time after she completing, she's running her own company. And she's a, you visit our website in their page or even in the social media, you can see a lot about articles about it. I just given you one example. So CMA is not just only for the industry where you want to work as an organization. It also gives you multifold effect when you start your organization and when you run your organization. So this is what I would say CMA brings to the table. Thank you. Vikas, over to you.
Thank you so much, Fenil, for highlighting to us the difference between a financial and a management accountant, and also the difference between the management accountant and a person who's pursuing chartered accountancy. So my next question is to Professor Durgesh sir. So what is the advantages of pursuing CMA, Certified Management Accountant, at Amity University, Rajasthan? So would you like to give us some insight about that, sir?
Yeah, Vikas, thank you so much. The whole address till now was very enlightening, and many of the questions and queries have already been resolved. But as I started the note earlier also, that MIT is one of the university who always aspire to give their student the best that could be available in the market to upgrade their skills, knowledge, and employability. So from the beginning, we have foreign languages, communication, personality. But with this, that we thought that there should be something else that should be given to the student, and that's how we entered into an MOU with IMA and ISDC to provide this CMA. Now, when a student comes from BBA or MBA program, with all the advantages he would have a regular student, he could also have an advantage to be a CMA, to do CMA in cooperation with IMA and ISDC, and get a fee waivers, a lot of discounts in terms of fees, in terms of examination, a lot of flexibility because of our course is already mapped with the standards of IMA for BBA program. So in terms of examination, in terms of fees, they got a lot of flexibility and waivers. And with this, it is easy for them to acquire an international certificate, and they need not to, they need not to sail in two boats. Rather than both the boats are integrated in such a manner that they can, just give a few glimpses on the few things and they get the certification very easily. So that's the major benefit. Thank you, Gus.
Thank you so much, Durgesh sir. So Fenil, my next question could just give a brief insight about the course structure of the CMA curriculum, and also talk about the roadmap to the US CMA membership. I've just added a question, Fenil, about the course structure. Probably if the students would like to just have a look at a glimpse of the course structure. So if we can just, if you could highlight that. If you would, should I share my screen?
I'm sharing it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're able to see my screen now, am I right?
panel we can see.
Thank you. So before again giving you a little more insights on the CMA course structure, uh, I think if you remember in the beginning, I mentioned how IMA create our syllabus. Every 5 to 6 years, IMA go around the world and look at what kind of skill set you're expecting from finance and management accountants in the industry. Now we create something called IMA Management Accounting Competency Framework. This is more like a base book or base reference for anyone who are in the working in the field of finance management who want to who you know who still look at reach to a level of CFO, CEO kind of an organization. Now, what kind of skill set which is required? That is what management accounting framework talk about, which is strategy, planning, performance, reporting, control, technology, and analytics. Now, being an accountant, being a management accountant, you should also know about technology and analytics and how it is going to affect the decision making and what is your role in influencing that analysis. Business acumen, operation, professional ethics and values, and finally, it is centered with manage leadership skills. Now, these are the skill set which is an industry looking forward. So how we create our syllabus, we call as content specific outline of the entire program. And interesting to share with you, I think maybe some of you might start noticing now India is talking about we need learning based, like learning outcome based training. So we create a syllabus, which is what industry looking forward. And by learning the syllabus, what is your learning outcomes? Now, based on this competency framework, we create our syllabus, which is two-part exam. So the interesting side here, unlike maybe Indian or UK qualification, which is usually lengthy in process, what they do, they start from very foundation level, then they progress and reach to the higher levels. Whereas we understand the need of the industry and what industry is looking at. We need qualified people who know to do things, and we want them within a short span of time. So we should allow people to gain the knowledge which is required in the industry, and they can clear it and can start working in the industry as soon as or within a short span of time. Now the syllabus is created, we said it's a two-part exam. Each part consists of 6 plus 6 topics. So what we call as the entire CMA syllabus is created based on 12 core practice areas in management accounting. So in other words, after completing CMA US certification, because I'm just mentioning CMA US, sometimes people get confused with the Indian certification. That's why I mentioned CMA US certification. You get these 12 core skills, which is external financial reporting decisions, planning, budgeting, and forecasting, performance management, cost management, internal controls to improve the efficiency gained of the organization, technology and analytics, financial statement analysis. So I mentioned you have to look at the financial statement and help organization in decision making. So financial statement analysis, corporate finance, decision analysis. So maybe company has taken a particular decision to go ahead. So your role again is to analyze that decision. What is the risk involved in it? What the opportunity involved? So you have to look at multiple things: risk management, investment decision, and professional ethics. So in a way, I would say professional ethics is part of your certification, and you need to be a professional ethical person. Now, if I look at all these, you have almost out of 12, 11 areas ideally you can look at a job segment. You can work in any of these job areas when you start working and when you start progressing in your career. Now, these two exams, each exam consists of 100 multiple choice questions and 2 essay questions. I repeat, each part 1 and part 2, each part consists of 100 multiple choice questions and 2 essay questions. You get 4 hours to write this exam. These are computer-based exams. So now the question come back, oh my God, this will going to take a lot of time. I don't know, I don't have much of typing skills in the laptop. It is not the something what you normally write in your university or school education. You don't need to write pages and pages for this. Even when I say to essay 30 minutes for that, it is not like you have to write and pages. It's all about, there will be a question, multiple questions asked. From that, you have to give answer to the question which is asked. So it can be presented in different formats, and you have all these facilities as part of the examination as well. So it is not about writing and writing. You should give the right answer and to the point. Now the question comes back. I'm studying some of these topics as part of my graduation, or sometimes people say I'm studying as part of my postgraduate. How CMA is different. So I would say the way how or the what level we test you, that is what the difference is all about. So what we learn these topics in our graduation or post-graduation, mostly from knowledge and comprehension. But what we test a student is up to level C, which means level B is application analysis and evaluation and synthesis. So the difference in learning CMA, it is not about by hearting. When you study yourself, what you need to look at, what is the real concept behind it? Your learning should be more application and analysis based rather than just by hearting and reproducing that in your answer sheets. So you have to always ask yourself why I'm learning this, where I'm going to apply that. So that should be your learning curve. And what I've seen, it is not about whether you scored 90, 95 in your previous exam, whether you have an interest to connect things with the real world. And if you're a person to learn things by looking at and applying things, this is going to be a wonderful certification. And I've seen people coming back to me saying that this certification helping me to get much better recognition in the corporate. Some of them say that this helped me to think very on the high level, especially when I start something my own. So there are different feedbacks, and this is, I'm happy to say CMA helped many people in their career journey. Now, we spoke about now about the certification 2-part exam. Now, when it comes to exams, you need to write 2 exams. In order to become finally a qualified certified management accountant, you need to complete a graduation, but you can write your exam while you're doing graduation. 2 years of relevant experience, and that experience is ideally once you come out of graduation and 2-part completed. From there, you have 7 years time to submit this 2 years of experience and an active membership. And exams happens globally. You can write it in India or any part of the world. Exams happens in Jan, Feb, May, June, September, October. So in a year, almost 6 months, the exam window is open. You can fix your examination date. You can write both part in the same time, or you can write in one in Jan and one in Feb, or one in Jan and one in May. The option is given to you. So the interest here, you don't need to write together. There is nothing called you need to write a group, and in case if you fail in one, you have to write it again. Nothing called like that. It's a paper part exam base. But if some of you are really good in studies and if you want to get a global award, then you have to write both part exams in the same window. So that's what I would like to give you more about, the certification. Now, from the membership perspective, in order to prepare for CMA, you need to be a member. Being part of a member, you are eligible to do the CMA certification. So unlike many other certification bodies, you join as a student. Once you complete all that, then you get the membership. Here you get membership first and you get the credential after completing. Now, one is certification, you can do it. We provide a lot of free webinars which talk about different topics like data analytics, robotics, RPA. So multiple topics which is very relevant in the present world. And these all comes as free for our members as part of it. We do have a wonderful career drive tool, IMA Leadership Academy. All these are for your benefits. Over to you, Vikas. I think I covered the points.
Thank you so much, Fenil. You'll be required once again. There's a question from one of the students. What is the career in CMA? So my next question to you is that what are the employment and job opportunities after doing a CMA? So Chitranshu,
Uh,
this answers your question.
Thank you, because I think this particular slide might help you. Uh, See now, if you ask me whether IMA is into placement, we are not a placement organization. We are a professional body. We do the research. We create the right syllabus for the industry. We prepare the syllabus. We test you. We award you. That is what IMA as a professional body is all about. But on the same time, IMA work with many organizations. You might be able to see the screen right now. We call them as our corporate supporters. So when we say corporate supporters, what they do, some of these organizations work with IMA in the research initiatives. Some companies, what they do, they fund for their own employees to get or do CMA certification, and company fund for them. Some companies reach out to IMA, say that we need fresh CMAs, we need interns, we need qualified CMAs with few years of experience. Can you inform your members? Because they don't advertise much for these jobs in the open platform. Rather, they reach out to us and say, do you have such people? And if you can reach out to them, it will be great for us. So we inform our candidates and members about this opportunity. Now, as I mentioned in my previous slide, 34% of people who completed the certification in the world currently work as CFOs, CEOs, and controllers. 22% of them are directors and managers, and 33% of them, I would say, they are in the early part of their career. I would say around 3 to 5 years time, they work as financial analysts, business analysts. They work as cost accountants, management accountants, FP&A professionals, pricing, investment decisions, risk management. These are some of the areas where you see early stages. That's where we say 33%. 22% of them, as mentioned, they are managers and directors. If you really look at their job, is more into helping into decision making or decision making themselves. And 34% of them are final decision makers in the organization. 11% of them, they work as consultants, they work as academicians who are like teaching in some of the big or well-known B schools around the world or universities around the world. So there are a set of people even go for these, or they might be trainers themselves, they might be running their own training institutes. So there are different kind of profiles. This is what how we are spread across. These are some of the profiles again, to give you some of the titles which people work with. Now, the interesting side of CMA, unlike many other very focused certifications into tax audit assurance kind, the benefit here being a management accountant, 80% of CMAs who completed the certification feels that their certification enables them to move across areas of business, which means you can work in accounting, finance, IT, operations, and senior executive level, wherever you want to work and where you need to take a decision. That is the role of a management accountant. So they are well versed with accounting as well as decision making, looking at multiple factors around the organizations. I hope I answered the question which you asked.
Yes, I hope so, Fenil. Thank you so much for this wonderful information about the various multinational companies who are looking at CMAs, and also the variety of job roles which are available for prospective students who have completed CMA, and also the fact that students can move from one level to another. There are opportunities for the same. So one more final question to you, Fenil. Is that what do you think, what is the perception or thought process of these multinational companies about the CMA as a qualification? So if you could give some insight about that.
Great, thank you. I think I'll just stop sharing my screen. So we just discussed about, or in the beginning we discussed about the finance transformation happening in the industry. Now the organizations, like if you look at around 7 to 8 years back, they were looking at more out, we were talking about BPO and outsourcing. Now what is happening in India, the jobs which is more repeated in nature, which we already discussed, which is going to get automated, or some of these jobs are migrating from India to other countries where they get much cheaper labor. Now, the skill set which is required in the industry, which is more consultative approach, and that is what CMA bringing into the table. Now, we start connecting with many corporates, and the interesting side, corporates start understanding the value of CMA, because being a management accountant, that is what industry is looking forward. So now what we see, especially last 4 to 5 years, a tremendous requirement for management accountants in the industry, especially in the finance domain. That is what the what is happening in the industry right now, and the requirement for more for management accountant is going to increase more and more in the coming future. Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you so much, Fender. So, last question to Professor Durgesh sir. Sir, why Amity Rajasthan has chosen to offer CMA to the students?
Because I guess we have already spoken a lot for
Right.
this. I earlier also mentioned, and it would be repetitive, is I say that MET is one university which always try to give best, and which is being make its student competitive. So in line of our courses like CBCS, behavioral science, and foreign languages, we thought CMA is another feather in the cap to offer the international qualification to the student. And getting associated with body like IMA and ISD would obviously give them a flair to understand the international market as well as the standards to work with in the international markets. So there may be many of them who would not be able to move for their graduation to various countries to get the global exposure. So to make the global exposure at their doorstep here in India, we thought that it should be a beneficial step for the students to get into these courses.
Thank you so much.
Just to add to one of the question which was asked to Durgesh sir earlier with regards to why should you do CMA with Amity, or even I think it was a similar kind of a question was even addressed by Vikas. So just to give you a little extra perspective towards that. Now, 2 years back, IMA conducted our student leadership conference. Like we do a lot of activities for student members, like student leadership conference, case competition, student leadership conference, which you get an access or an opportunity to go to US with cost from IMA. We fund for that. So there are a lot of activities which we do. As part of it, one of the event was student leadership conference, which happened in India. India region in 2019. Last year we could not do it because of COVID. So there was around 300 selected students from around India got invited for that. And one of the students asked the question, sir, why should I do CMA right now? Instead, why can't I do that after my graduation or after my post-graduation? And the GM of Wipro, he was one of the panelists in that talk. So what he mentioned, like, there are thousands of students coming out every year after graduation. And it's very difficult for a corporate to differentiate your skill set, and it's sometimes challenging. Now, what he said, when you come with a certification with an additional knowledge, first thing you can start from the beginning with the differential knowledge in the industry. So that help you to go ahead of other graduates who get recruited. And he also said, the people who comes without a professional graduation and with professional graduation, they recognize them from the job perspective as well as from the pay perspective, a differential package. And it's also reduce your time to interact with the industry. So someone who cleared both part exam after graduation and getting in the industry, that is one option. Other option is after graduation, you spend one more year. Your experience matters when you start working in the corporate world. So that is, I think, one factor. And the opportunity again, we don't have, as per my knowledge, much. So we do have hubs for CMA in certain markets, but it's Jaipur. I think it's still an untapped market, I would say, and it's a great opportunity for you. Don't need to travel anywhere else. You can prepare for the CMA in. I think it's Jaipur, am I right? I know Rajasthan, Jaipur, yeah. So Jaipur, you don't need to travel anywhere. You get this access within your city limit, And it's the same certification. I just want to add one more, like every year people come and ask me, or every whenever I do a presentation, people ask me like, I do like if I do an MBA program from so and so institute and this institute, I might get into a job, similar kind of a job in the corporate. So how it make a difference? Why I should do CME? I'll give you an example for that. You might done an MBA program from an XYZ college in Jaipur, and you are applying for a job in Bangalore. And your first question, like, what's your highest, certification, or what is your highest qualification or credential? So you say you are done your MBA program. The immediate next question comes to you: from where you done it? From where you done it? So the certification or the credential or an MBA certification is valid based on which institute you have done that. I'll give you another scenario. Think about, I'm not much familiar with Rajasthan, but okay, just look at somebody who's completed CA from Jaipur. You go any part of India and say you're a chartered accountant. Do you think any organization will ask you from where you done it? Now, the interesting part of CMA, if you do CMA, you go around the world and say you're a certified management accountant. The benefit here, they know what skills you carry with you. So that's how it make a difference. That's how the difference when you do your graduation with professional certification. Graduation, I always say structured graduation is always important, because apart from your title, CMA, you need certain other skills, which is working with colleagues, your presentation skills, and your language skills. Now, out of all this, I would say language is very important. That will give you a lot of confidence for many other things. But nowadays, corporates are looking at whether the person able to work with other people. And that skill set, you get it while you study with such kind of reputed and structured learning. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Fenil, for your words of wisdom. And yes, definitely agree that undergraduate degree or the university degree is definitely the foundation, and the professional qualification like CMA, Certified Management Accountant, acts like an icing on the cake. So my thanks to all the panel speakers here today. And now we would probably open the forum for questions from the students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Durgesh sir.
So students, you can type in the chat box. Maybe we already have some questions. Abhishek, if you could read out, or you could unmute yourself, or whatever you feel comfortable with. Any questions, students? Come on, we would like you to. I'm sure you have enjoyed the listening to all the speakers today, and we want to hear from you what you have understood and what you would want to know about further about the CMA qualification. Any doubts you have in your mind, we are there to address the same.
I guess Vikasji, they have asked a lot of questions during the session itself, and you probably been generous to address all of them in between.
Sure. And maybe, yeah, there's a question from Chitranshu again. After 12th, do CMA. Fenil,
yes, that's the model which we are looking at. I'll just give you enough, frank opinion. When you complete your graduation, we are not much sure about what's your background, what is your knowledge. So when you start CMA, maybe in the initial side, you might find it difficult or a little challenging. The reason is you are not exposed to this kind of a learning. Now, as I mentioned to you, from the beginning, when you start, I used to ask this question. I don't know how many you let's see, like you can give the answer in the chat box. Okay, this is one of my favorite questions which I usually ask the students. So the question is it possible to predict ice cream sale in Jaipur in 2022 April May? Is it possible to predict ice cream sale in Jaipur in the year 2022, the month April, May? Consider there is no COVID. Okay, there is no lockdown and there is no COVID. So is it possible to predict? If you say yes, you can tell me how can you predict? You can give your answers. I'm happy to get that because it will be good if you involve in it. Am I right? So my question is it possible to predict ice cream sale in the year 2022, the months April, May? If yes, how can you predict? If no, why? If it will be really great if some of you give your answers. I mean, I'm not going to penalize you even if it's the wrong answer.
Chitransh, would you like to give it a shot? Would you like to answer this question?
No problem. Now, this is something which I want to connect you with CMA. You might study something called trend analysis in your 12th or 11th standard. How many of you studied trend analysis as part of your mathematics statistics or business mathematics? Trend analysis. I think in some college, I mean, school system, it's taught even in the 10th standard. Trend analysis. What it is means, you look at the last 5 years performance and you predict your future. Am I right? This is something you learned. You might got 5 out of 5 because sometimes this comes as a 5-mark questions in my time. So I hope the similar kind of things is happening. You studied this, you scored maybe 5 out of 5, but when I asked you a scenario and given you a scenario, you are not able to connect that with us. Now the learning with CMA, it's all about that. It's when you start studying, ask yourself why I'm studying, where I am going to apply, and what will be the results. And if something goes wrong, what should be the next step? So your learning should be more always asking yourself. It's like if you have somebody like in the age of 3 to 5 at your home, just watch them. If you ask them, this is mouse, he said, what is mouse? What is used? Why it is like this? Why it is black color? Why there is a light coming in? There will be at least some 10 questions from there. The same way, ask yourself the question when you study. And if you do that, I'm sure CMA is going to be a wonderful qualification. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinny. So over to Durgesh, sir. Sir, I don't think anybody has any more questions.
Thank you, Vikasji. I would really like to, mention that this session was very enlightening. There are a lot of discussion on the things which a student, want to know, but they don't know how to ask these questions. Sometimes we have the queries, we have the questions, but how to ask this question and how to address these queries is a tough job for the student at this age. And obviously, during these 2 years, a lot of confusion, is revolving around the state of education and economy everywhere. So I guess this is all these students and attendees have benefited from the enlightening thoughts from the speakers. And I would really like to thank Fenil, Sean, Vikasji, you yourself. I've met Vikasji, so I could relate rather than Mr. Khonsla rather than Vikasji. And obviously, I would like to thank MIT University and Abhishek and Monish also to make this whole event possible and get it on the grounds. So thank you everyone for your kind attention and being as a participant and as the speaker also. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Durgesh sir. Thank you, MIT University for giving this opportunity once again. Looking forward to comment. I remember I met your Pro Vice Chancellor in 2019. Then I said I will travel, but I think that was the last travel in that year. After that, the COVID start hitting the market. So I could not travel from last February 2019 onwards. Sorry, 2020 onwards. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
There's
you.
a question: are certificates provided?
Yeah, once you clear both part exams and then with certain experience. So once you clear both exams, you get a marks card, which is good enough to differentiate you. And once you clear 2 exams, graduation, and 2 years of relevant experience, you get a certificate, and you're also allowed to use your name with CMA. So that's an opportunity. And if you want to know more about it, please connect me in social media as well. I usually share a lot of information. You can connect me as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.